Good morning there, Sweet Peas. Basic Prepper Mom Myra. I'm actually going to put this on my group page as well on Facebook. But we had our monthly meeting last night. It went really well. Didn't have a ton of people, but there was a lot of people that couldn't make it last night, so that's okay. And we kind of focused more on gardening and figuring out how much food that you need for your family. And I was able to find an amazing website that has a food calculation. Now it only does basically dry goods, so like canned goods and dried goods like flour and sugar and oats and stuff like that. But it's a really good calculation. It's a bit of a shocker, I'm just going to tell you right now. You put how many family members you have and how long you want your food stores to last. So if you want 30 days or 6 months or a year, don't put in a year, because the amount for a family of 6 for a year is unbelievable. I was a bit shocked, to be quite honest. And I think it could be overwhelming if you do that. So just put your family members for like 15 days or 30 days. Start low, and then once you have that, then you can kind of build up from there. But when you actually see in writing the amount of food that you will need to survive for that period of time for as many family members you have is very overwhelming. I will try to put the website in the description below. I actually heard it from somebody else that I watched on here as well, another YouTuber, and he was able to share it, and it's pretty amazing. I mean, the information is, but it's nice to have that calculation to help you, kind of give you a guideline. And I'm not saying that, this is absolute set in stone, this is what you need to do, but it is kind of nice to have that as a guideline as to what you need to do. And I had this, big idea that if something happened, that we would have a certain amount of people, friends and family that would come out to our bug out location, and we would be able to provide for them. We would be okay. So how much do I need for everyone? When I looked at a calculation for 6 people for a year, I was like, oh my word, because we were talking like 30, 35 people that would come out to our place. And I was like, if it's that high for 6 people, I didn't even put in 30 people. I should probably do it just to see what it says, because that would be, I don't even know if I would have enough place to store everything. And that's kind of the problem. But that'll get you through. That's all your dry goods and stuff. So when you see that, you definitely are now more convinced that you have to be self-sustaining and self-reliant, not just going out and buying and stocking stuff up. For the short term, that works out just fine. For the long term, that's not going to work out so well. So you have to have those means to sustain yourself and your family for long periods of time, because you can only live so long on canned goods and freeze-dried food and MREs and stuff like that. That only lasts you a certain amount of time, and you're going to get bored, you're going to get tired of it, and you're not going to want to eat it. And so anyway, there's a lot of factors at play in. So being self-sustaining and self-reliant is definitely the way to go 100%. Now, this is actually the main point of this. I was having a really bad night last night. Yesterday, it was just a bad day. I wasn't feeling good, nothing contagious. My fibro was flaring up. I've been having some other health issues and some other symptoms that have been coming up that are super uncomfortable and super concerning. So that kind of brought in this whole thought process. When I have a bad day, when I have a good day, I don't think about it. But when I have a bad day, it really gets me to thinking, who is going to want me in their mag or their tribe or their community? What purpose do I serve, and why would anyone want me in their circle? And I think that a lot of people, if you have a disability, if you have health issues, if you have, if you're elderly, even if you're way young, you have kids that are 2-3 years old, you kind of get that thought process of, why would anyone want me in their community? What do I have to offer, and why would anyone want to take care of me? Well, not that you're asking anybody to take care of you. but what do I have to offer that somebody would want me in their group? And I have heard lone wolf, weekend warriors time and time again. Oh, we just want the strongest, the fastest, the smartest, the most skilled, we want the warriors in my group and everybody else can just, whatever. And that's fine for a survival, militant kind of situation. But when you're talking about thriving versus surviving, you need people of all aspects in your group. And this is where, and I said it last night, I think this word gets used way too much. I think it's overused, these words, and I don't think that sometimes they're used correctly. But that's where inclusivity and diversity comes into your group. If you have elderly people in your group, that's amazing, because then those elderly people, depending on how elderly and who they are and what they are, can teach the younger kids, can teach the younger people growing up how to do things. You have people from different backgrounds, different nationalities, different ethnicities. Whew, I had a hard time last night talking, and apparently it's going to happen again today. They can teach so much to other people. When you have somebody with a disability, they have overcome a lot. They have learned to accommodate themselves. They've learned to customize things to themselves. And that can be used to someone else in your group. Absolutely 100%. Plus their skill and their knowledge base can be absolutely out of this world. So when you look at your tribes, your groups, your MAGAs, whatever, you want to have a big diverse area, because surviving and thriving are two different things. And at the beginning, yes, you want to be surviving, but in the end, you want to make sure that you and your group and your MAG and your family and your troop, whatever you call each other, are thriving. That is the most important thing, is to make sure that they are thriving and not just surviving. All right. So look at your groups, look at your MAGs. Don't look at people as to, oh my gosh, really? Now I have a bad habit, not gonna lie. I have a bad habit of, when I look at my friends and family and I go, okay, what do they have to offer? What do they have to offer? And it's okay to do that. But just realize that you might not see something in the very, very beginning that person has to offer. You might not know it. You might not realize it there, but they do have something to offer. Everyone, every single person has something to offer, even if they're living in an apartment situation. Just because they don't have a lot of property and a lot of things going on doesn't mean that they don't have something to offer to the group, to the community. And I've talked about that way in the past. One of my videos, like very early on, we talked about having those people that are IT people and accountants and, people that typically work in the office and don't really work out. They're very useful to have in your group, in your MAGA. To have somebody that is technology based is amazing. And you might not think about that and you're like, whatever. I'd rather have somebody that can grow food than just hold off on that. Everyone has something to offer. And if they're like-minded and they're willing to be in your group and in your community, and they're willing to input and they're willing to help do whatever, and they're willing to continue to learn, those are the people that you want in your group. Like-minded people. I don't care if they think that there's a zombie apocalypse, and I could not say that word last night to save my life. Had to have someone else say it for me. This is my brain fog sometimes. I don't care if they're preparing for a natural disaster. I don't care if they're whatever they're doing. It's okay. If they're like-minded and want to be a preparedness type person and want to work on self-reliance and self-sustainability, those are your people. Okay. So when you're looking at your community, make sure that you are diversifying, and please make sure that you have a lot of different people that do a lot of different things, because you never know when they're going to come into play. Yeah, we also talked about other stuff too, but we'll get into that later, I think. But definitely look at your MAGs, look at your tribes, start getting them together. Really start looking at how you can start shoring up those connections really tight and really start moving forward. It's really easy to talk about stuff. It's really easy to plan stuff, but you really need to get in there and do it. I've got a lot of homework ahead of me. And I have a job. I have all my stuff at home. I've got a lot of committees that I'm and fundraisers that I'm involved in, but I am going to try my best to do as much as I can to help people. So we'll kind of work on that and see how that goes. But diversify your community and really make sure that you've got those people that are very like-minded, and everything else will fall into place. As long as you guys are kind of on the same wavelength here and you're on the same thought process, everything else will fall into place. All right. Once again, if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to reach out. I hope you guys have a wonderful, amazing day, and we'll talk to you soon.